My friends, do you not understand? People using the word inappropriate. Inappropriate. It is not inappropriate. It is just plain wrong. But it is worse than wrong. Worse than wrong. Worse than wrong. My friend, it is worse than wrong. It is Dougie's disaster. Did you see that? Did you see that? This is the Premier of Ontario, who is in charge of a vaccine rollout that has cost taxpayers billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. This is a premier who is in charge of stopping the spread of a virus that has caused the lives of thousands of people and the jobs of thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. This is a premier in a province with 14 million people, where for the past year, the people have gone through stress, ordeals, pain, suffering, anguish, lack of childcare, lack of visiting their families, lack of opening up their business, lack of even breathing fresh air day by day. This is a premier in a province that has easily 50% of its residents being immigrants. A large percentage of people who do not go out and say, oh, I understand this. They just say, I want the best for others. The Premier says we are in this together. Mr. Premier, we are not in this together. Number one, Mr. Premier, people have a right to know what's going in their body. And you don't have a right to force people to put things in their body. But aside from my personal views, we are talking about the Premier of Ontario, who says this is serious. Serious. We have put in an emergency order and another emergency order and another emergency order, and this is serious. This is critical to the health and the well-being of every single resident and every single person in the province of Ontario. And this is the Premier's reaction after rolling up his sleeve. Mr. Premier, you have 50% of the people, easily, who have fears of taking the vaccine. You have just spent billions and billions of taxpayers' dollars, and you have inconvenienced the taxpayers to the point of nearly destroying this province and indebting the future generations for generations and generations to come. And you say, Mr. Premier, that this is a joking matter? Mr. Premier, what this shows is that you have not seriously taken action in the interest of the people of the province of Ontario when it came to COVID-19. Because for you to make a joke in this matter, and for those who say it was okay, I guess what you are saying is that all those who have died, it was okay. It is not okay. How can you have any trust or any faith in this Premier who would make a joke out of the most serious crisis that has ever faced humanity? The most serious crisis that has ever face humanity. I will give you the equivalent of the Premier's joke. Nazi Germany. That was okay. We can laugh about it today. COVID was not okay. We can't laugh about it today. A man or a woman is getting persecuted. She has been raped. Her children has been raped, which is one of the most heinous crimes. But society possibly at this time will not consider it as serious as COVID. And when the Premier was called to reply to cost to the lady, the Premier joked, hey, so when he was thrubbing, was it up and down or did he go to the left or the right? Oh, I was just joking. My friends, COVID-19 is not a joke. Whether you believe it's a scam, whether you believe it's a conspiracy or whatever it is. Because the fact is, COVID-19, the crisis that's created, caused a large amount of life, a large amount of suffering, and it has cost people a large amount of livelihood. Some students may not even graduate. Some students may not even have an opportunity for that job to build a career so they can have a family and have a future. They might end up failing out, end up on the street hustling drugs or becoming a drug addict. That's somebody's child, but it's all right. We can joke about it. This is not a joking matter. This is a disaster. Because the Premier has just undermined every single thing that we have been told in Ontario about COVID-19. Because we do not know whether the Premier was joking. But it is more destructive and dangerous what the Premier did. Because we know that vaccine rollouts have been low because a large amount of people were fearful of taking the vaccine. And now the Premier has reassured their fears. Let me ask you, Mr. Premier, of those thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who watch the media and they turn on the TV and they didn't listen to the caption or read what it says. They didn't say you were joking. They see the Premier nod out after taking the vaccine. Oh my God! You have just turned those people away from the vaccine, clearly. In a situation as this, there is only one action that is to be made. You know, going to the cottage while you tell people to stay at home was strike one. Going to a birthday party while you tell people not to gather, strike two. But putting fears in people for taking a vaccine that you told that they needed to take to protect their health and to protect their others, that, sir, is strike three. Because to make a joke of something as serious as people dying and getting sick from COVID-19 is an injustice to all of us. And the Premier should resign.